And this is going to alter the relationship between the United States and Saudi Arabia for the foreseeable future. What those specific measures are, obviously, is going to be up for debate, but they'll be strong and they'll be meaningful. Congress will act.
I know what I'm going to do. We're going to sanction the hell out of Saudi Arabia.
All right, that's Republican senators saying they'll confront Saudi Arabia over the apparent murder of a Washington Post journalist. But President Trump told the Associated Press that blaming the Saudis is just another example of guilty until proven innocent, just like the Brett Kavanaugh hearings. Joining us now, we have Republican Senator John Kennedy of Louisiana. Senator, good morning.
Good morning, Allison. Where's Berman? How's Berman doing? Did you have to run him off or?
Well, listen, we do fight over you. This is true. But today I won that arm wrestle.
Well, I'm honored.
Okay, so listen, Senator, do you have any doubt this morning that Jamal Khashoggi was killed inside the Saudi consulate on October 2nd?
No. I mean, he didn't, something happened to him, and I don't think he fell through a hole in the fabric of the universe. I think he was murdered. I think the Saudis are certainly acting like they did it. Don't know whether King Solomon or Prince Mohammed knew about it. Not sure it matters. I'm just curious, why wouldn't it matter? Because, I mean, as you know, they may be preparing this cover story that this was some sort of interrogation gone wrong. Would that matter in terms of U.S. retribution against them? I don't think so. Number one, it's going to be hard for them to prove they didn't know about it. Number two, the king and the prince are captains of the ship. They're ultimately responsible. A couple of things I think we need to keep in mind. Number one, America's foreign policy should be anchored in values. Having said that, the toughest job, I think, in foreign policy that a president has in our country is to deal with an authoritarian despot that doesn't share our values, but that is important to our interests. I think we have to condemn what the Saudis did here in the strongest possible terms. For two reasons. Number one, it's right. Number two, to maintain our credibility.
Yeah.
But unlike some of my colleagues, I don't think we have to or should blow up the Middle East doing it. Some of my colleagues think we need to cut the Saudi Arabians off like a dead stump. And I don't think we have to do that. I think we can condemn them, but continue to talk with them at the same time. And let me tell you why that's important.
Yeah.
There are no democracies in the Middle East, with the exception of Israel. Mm-hmm. I trust, with the exception of Israel, I trust every Middle Eastern country about as much as I trust gas station sushi.
But hold on, Senator. First things first, okay? First things first, because let's just take this apart one at a time. You think that there needs to be very strong condemnation. Have you heard that from President Trump?
I heard it initially. I think he's backed off. I think he's trying to get the facts.
But why believe Saudi denials over the evidence?
Well, I think part of it is that a lot of the information we're getting is coming from Turkish officials. They're leaking it.
And is that not to be trusted?
Well, it's no secret that Turkey and the Saudis hate each other. There are three centers of power in the Middle East: Turkey, Saudi Arabia, and Iran. And they're all jockeying to get the upper hand. And if one of them succeeds, the Middle East is going to blow up.
Fair enough. But aren't you telling us this morning that you believe Turkish authorities and their intelligence over the Saudi denials?
I do so far, yeah, based on the facts I've got.
And so, I mean, again, it's just puzzling when the President of the United States says things over and over like, well, they say they deny it. The President went so far as to say maybe this was a rogue operation. Again, just to present to people what we have in terms of the evidence, a Turkish official tells us there was a fresh paint of coat applied everywhere inside the Saudi consulate, that a Turkish official says Khashoggi's body was cut into pieces after he was killed, and they know that because of audio and video evidence that they say they have. We understand that he may have been injected with some kind of tranquilizer. We understand that they have collected, investigators, a large number of DNA samples from the Saudi consulate. What smoking gun exactly do you think the president is waiting for?
Well, here's what I think the president's doing, and I haven't talked to him, but I try to put myself in his shoes. There are no democracies in the Middle East, with the exception of Israel. You've got these three power centers, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, and Iran. We've got to deal, if we can, with all three. We can't let one get the upper hand. Now, we can't deal with Iran. They are the most aggressive, the most arrogant. That means that we have to maintain some sort of relationship to maintain some sort of balance with Saudi Arabia and with Turkey. And I think that's what he's doing. He's trying to figure out a way. I hope that's what he's doing.
Yeah.
He's trying to figure out a way to condemn the conduct of the Saudis.
Yep.
While at the same time being able to dialogue with them and make them understand that this is not cool. They need to calm down. The world is watching, and this undermines the Saudi Arabian integrity and sovereignty.
And if the president doesn't do that, Senator, what will Congress do? What will you?
Well, I don't want to see Congress do it by itself. I don't. I think we should do it together. I think the president and the Congress should get together and say, okay, we understand the situation in the Middle East. We've tried to remake the Middle East.
Yeah.
It's become more authoritarian. We've got to maintain the balance of power, but we've got to condemn Saudi Arabia. How do we do that? We could expel some of their diplomats. We could use sanctions. We could curtail the arms sales. We could do a UN resolution. But what we shouldn't do, Allison, in my judgment, unlike some of my colleagues, we shouldn't just say, that's it, no more. We're going to cut the Saudis off like a dead stump.
Okay.
We can't do that.
Okay, understood. So, Senator, listen, one of the reasons that we always enjoy having you on is because you always give us a sort of unfiltered view of your mindset. And so I'm just wondering what went through your mind when you looked at the president's tweet yesterday that brought up Stormy Daniels and compared her physical appearance to an animal.
I wish he hadn't done it. I mean, look, we've all done something like that before.
Have you?
Senator, we all
have
well,
you
yeah,
tweeted something like that?
No, I wouldn't tweet it, but we all have. I mean,
no, hold on, Senator. Come on. No, we all haven't. Most of us actually resist insulting people publicly. Well, we used to.
Let me make my point. And that's a fair point, Allison. I think most people have. They made fun of somebody else in the way they looked. It's not right. It happens all the time now on social media. It detracts substantially. That's an understatement. I wish the president hadn't done it. I think the president clearly has, he grows anxious when he has unexpressed thoughts. There's some things you shouldn't say.
What's he distracting from?
And there's some things that a president shouldn't say, and I wish the president hadn't done it. And I don't think it contributes to anything. I don't suspect he's going to listen to me. But
no, but I mean, do you think that the president doing it has an effect on the rest of Americans doing it?
Sure. And I've made my feelings known that to the president that tweeting a little less wouldn't cause brain damage. You don't have to express every one of your thoughts, but that's the way he rolls. And I don't agree with it, but I don't think it's going to change. But I certainly don't condone it, and I don't think it's right to comment on anybody's looks like that, especially if you're the president of the United States. My point in saying that we've all done it is not to excuse it, but I think most people have. They make a joke about somebody's appearance, but the whole purpose of it is to hurt somebody, and there's enough hurt in the world, so why do you want to do it?
Well, there you go. Senator John Kennedy, thank you very much for coming on with all of your opinions about everything that's happening. Thank you.
Okay, wake Berman up now, okay?
Okay, got it. I will. He's very envious that I got to talk to you.
Miss you, Senator. Take care.
See you, John.